Alright, today we're going to be converting our Solera manual pull strap awning to a power 18 volt power awning. Now this is a battery operated awning and does not require any wires to be ran into the coach or outside the coach or anything along those lines. So it's actually charged by a charger that you plug into a standard 120 outlet. Now you can convert a Carefree or Dometic manual awning as well using this universal kit. If you have a manual crank awning, the hybrid awning, you can convert that to this 18 volt awning as well. So when you order this awning, this is the box it'll come in. Right here, it'll tell you down here, it's an 18 volt power, universal hardware kit. The arms are 69 inches long, and whether it's a black or white kit. So whichever color you need to match yours, or if you don't want a black one anymore, you can go ahead and order a white one, or if your white one doesn't appeal to you, you can get the black arms as well. So if we go ahead and open up the box, inside here we got some packing foam to help secure the parts and pieces that are in here. So the first arm we'll take out, this is our drive side. Now the drive side has the motor in the top here, but also I know it's my drive side because at the very bottom of the arm, there's a switch that operates the awning. That's your extend and retract switch. So that switch is actually on the outside of the coach, all right? With the drive side, you have your idle side. So you have both of your arm assemblies, and then you have your universal hardware kit right here. You have a manual to help you convert your Solera or your Carefree Dometic awnings over to this 18 volt power awning. You have different zip ties, different fasteners, a variety of other items in this bag that'll help you convert those awnings to this power awning here. Now, inside of this arm, not only is there the switch to operate it, so inside your drive arm, you have your switch, you've got your motor, but then sitting right about here in your outer arm is the battery pack that is charged to help you maintain operation of this awning itself. And you've got about 22 to 25 full extension and full retractions. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with the upgrade to our 18 volt battery operated Solera awning. So before we can remove anything from our roll tube, we have to go ahead and get this mount arm off the coach along with the idle side mount arm. So first things first, we've already cleared out our previously installed sealant. So we're gonna get these 4 bolts off of this mount arm. Now that we're done here, we'll move down to the other side. We'll get those 4 bolts out, and then we'll continue on. All right, we've gone ahead and secured both outer arms with this zip tie. So there's one on our idle side as well. The other thing we've done on the idle side is we've put a cotter pin through that arm down there at the top of the head assembly to support and secure that spring. That way when we start to dismantle this side, that side doesn't want to go either in or out because of the tension on that spring. Next step here is we're going to go ahead and remove the head assembly by getting rid of this single bolt. Now I've got someone down here helping me. They're going to go ahead and support the roll tube as we go through this process. So the first thing here, we're going to go ahead and remove this single bolt holding the head assembly to our outer arm. Now we have this head assembly, the cam is in the locked position, so I can move this, I can put my hand away from here. As long as it's in the locked position, this head assembly won't move on you at all right? So we can kind of rest that inside that head assembly, or rest the head assembly inside this outer arm as someone's supporting that roll tube for you. The next step we're going to do is we're going to get, there's 3 screws attaching our end cap to our roll tube. That's going to let us remove that spring. So we'll go ahead and remove these 3 screws. Now that we've got those 3 screws out of the way, we're going to go ahead and remove our spring from the roll tube. Now when we do this, this spring is going to be under some tension. As we start to remove the end cap from here, this guy's going to want to start to rotate on you. So the end of the head assembly rather is going to want to either spin clockwise or counterclockwise. So you want to make sure you have a firm grasp on that. So we go ahead and just pull it out of your roll tube, and you can see right away it wants to start to spin towards the end of that thing. And that's fine, as long as you got a good grasp on it. We'll go ahead and pull this guy away from that, and we'll just go ahead and relieve the tension on this. Now the roll tube length is going to dictate how many turns this head assembly has on it. Ours just happened to have 9. And I'm going to count while I do this to myself, but if you're removing this spring, you kind of start to feel that tension loosen. So you can see right now, I've released that 9 rotations, and this head assembly is not wanting to fling one way or another. So we'll go ahead and pull this spring out. Once this out of the way, I'm actually going to go ahead and just set that up on top of the unit. Once that's out of the way, we can go ahead and remove our old mount arm. So we've only got the 2 bolts at the top because we've already removed the other 4. We got 1 bolt there. And our last bolt right here. Once that's out of the way, we'll move on to our next step. All right, now that we've got our drive side arm and head assembly and spring completely removed, we're down here on our idle side. We've still got the cotter pin that we installed earlier. That's still in place. So now what we'll do is we'll remove the head assembly from our outer arm and then the end cap from our roll tube. So first, we'll remove the head assembly. Now, instead of this zip tie in place, this arm might want to fling out at us. And I still got that cotter pin in place, so that guy's not going to go anywhere. Next step is the 3 screws holding the end cap to the roll tube. Go ahead and pull this spring out of there. Now there's going to be tension on there, so we're going to go ahead and relieve that tension. Again, I'm not going to use any additional tools to do this, because if I slip, that tool is going to become a projectile, and I don't want to get that involved in the equation right now. So I'm just using my hands. Again, I have someone down here helping me support the roll tube while I'm doing this. Once the tension's off, we'll go ahead and slide that spring out of there. Put it up there for now. And we're just going to set the roll tube up on top of the coach while I remove the remaining mount arm here. So the last mount arm, just got 2 bolts holding it in place. All right, next step, we've got the old arm off the coach. We're going to go ahead and assemble our end cap down here on the bench. So we've got a hole in our arm coming off of our head assembly, and we have a hole in our end cap. We want those 2 guys to line up. And we're going to take our wax screw, and we're going to go ahead and seat that in. We want it to sit off 1/8 of an inch. All right, we don't want to tighten that down or torque down on that. We want it down 1/8 of an inch. All right, now we're ready to install our drive side assembly to the side of the coach. First, we're going to go ahead and grab our roll tube. I've got someone down there helping me again. Depending on how long your awning lead is, you may need a 2nd or 3rd person to help you. I'm going to go ahead and just get this guy lined up on there. Once that's secured and set where I need it to be, go ahead and grab my drill. Can't put these in by hand. right, end cap is secured. Now we're going to go ahead and secure the arm to the side wall of the coach. We're just going to use the pre-existing marking that we have from our old awning. So now we're going to know exactly where we need to go. So I've got some help down here. What we're going to do is we're going to lift this right back where the old one was. All right, good there. Now that we've got that secured, what we're going to do is we're going to move down to the idle side, attach that arm, and then we'll go ahead and run the awning out and continue with installation. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut the zip ties. We've already removed the one on the idle side, and before we cut the zip ties, I'm going to remove the safety tape though. Safety tape's just letting you know there's a pinch factor here, so watch yourself. Now, once I cut that, I want to have a good grasp on the head assembly here because that's going to want to kick out just like you see here. Go ahead and remove the remainder of that zip tie that's in behind there. And now what we'll do is we'll run the awning out so that we can gain access to our mounting bolts towards the bottom of the coach there. So we've gone ahead and we charged up our battery that's sitting up in our drive arm there. Then I went ahead and I removed this wire cover that would be sitting right in here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to run 2 screws. There's 2 holes right through the bottom of this switch here, or there's 2 right here. Either one of those 4 holes is acceptable. And once we have the bottom mounted, we'll go into the center, one of these 3 sets of holes. There's a set of holes right up here. You're not going to be able to see because the pitch arm's probably blocking it. But then there's a set of holes here and a set of holes here. Now, you can use the same holes or the same mount position that was previously used for the old awning. But just to verify, if you need to, make sure that that arm is square. Put your tape measure, measure from the arm itself to the door, and then we're going to go up towards the center and measure up here as well. So I actually want to bring this just a hair this way. There we go. So now that that is square, come down here at the bottom, run our first screw in, run our second screw in. We'll go up here towards the center. One screw in there. Run our other screw in. Now before we put the wire cover back on, we'll go ahead and use our sealant here, and then we're going to cover up the 2 screw holes we put down here underneath this switch, and then the 2 screw holes at the top here. All right, so we've gone ahead and we've secured our drive arm assembly to the coach, and we've secured our idle side. We've got those all mounted, sealed, and all that. So with our 18-volt awning, let's go ahead and talk about operation, fabric care, and general maintenance. So operation, down here on your drive side, you got this switch. This switch up is going to go ahead and retract, and then down will actually extend it back out. Now on a full charge, the battery will get about 22 to 25 full extensions and full retractions. All right, so when you're bringing it in, just hang on to that switch. Now because this switch is down here, just pay attention to where you have your hand. Don't have your hand wrapped around the arm like this, otherwise you're going to end up pinching your hand. All right, so keep your hands on the outside here. You can go ahead and extend or retract that awning safely.
Next, we're going to choose the side that we want to establish pitch. Pitch can be set by adjusting our pitch arm on our awning assembly to tip our awning for optimal water runoff. If the pitch of the awning is not set and a significant amount of water, snow, or debris accumulates on top of the awning fabric, the awning may pitch itself to purge the excess water. The awning can pitch itself and dump a significant amount of water or snow, and it can do this without notice. In the event water has pooled on top of your awning fabric, you will need to remove the excess water prior to manually adjusting the pitch of your awning. Before manually adjusting the pitch of your awning, you'll want to make sure that you remove any excess water, snow, or debris on top of your awning fabric. You can do this by using a long-handled tool like a broom to push up on the fabric of your awning and remove any pooling water or debris. Now that we've removed the excess water, snow, or debris from on top of our awning fabric, we can manually and safely set the pitch of our awning. And we're going to do this on the side furthest away from our entry door. The pitch arm is designed to hold the set position by the operator. An operator can also reset the pitch of the awning by manually pushing up on the Solera pitch arm. But if you are doing this, do not overextend it past the straight line because this can add excess tension to the gas strut and cause that strut to break. The pitch arm will also be reset when you are retracting your awning.
The other part to making sure that battery up there in your drive arm is fully charged is this charger that's supplied with the awning. Now this guy here plugs into a standard 120 outlet. I have this extension cord right here. Now you can see that it's not currently plugged into the awning, but if we plug it in, that light turns green, okay? So that light turns green even though it's not plugged in. So it's important that you have this plug fully seated on the bottom of your awning arm. Otherwise, it'll kind of trick you and you might think that the awning's fully charged, but in reality, it's actually not. But once you have this fully seated, it turns red and lets you know it's charging. Once the awning's fully charged, that light will turn green, letting you know that that battery is fully charged, fully operational, and you should get that 22 to 25 full extensions or full retractions, all right? Other than that, once it's charged up, usually takes about 24 hours to get a fully charged state. So if that awning's fully drained, it'll take about 24 hours to fully charge. But once it's fully charged up, you can go ahead and unplug this and then store it in a drawer or wherever you need to inside that coach. Other than that, this will keep that battery going. And if you need to replace that battery, let's say it's no longer taking a charge for whatever reason, that battery is replaceable. On every Solera awning, you do have that manual override cap right here, this little rubber cover right here. You pull that off, and that'll give you access to the 7/16 manual override nut on the end of this motor. So in the event, let's say the motor just stops working, you know you're fully charged in this case, but the motor just won't engage, you can go ahead and pull that rubber cap off the end of that motor, take your cordless drill, no impact, and then go ahead and retract that awning as needed. And then once it's in for service, they can use that same manual override nut to go ahead and extend that awning out to gain access to the motor or wires or whatever the case may be. So you do have that in the event that the motor or maybe the battery won't take a charge, or maybe there's a pinched wire or something in that regard. But that'll give you access to get going, that way you're not stuck.